Every time I go somewhere or I hear my music out in the world, I'm always amazed. And just to be like walking in the street and say twin and random people answer and be like, where have you been? You know, that kind of impact, I do not take lightly. I don't take it for granted. It's definitely more personal. There were a few songs on Public Displays of Affection where I talked about some very personal things, but you wouldn't know if I didn't point it out. There's some songs I just can't sing and are very difficult to listen to even. The first time I ever cried in the studio when I was making something was on that album, and I didn't like how it felt, so I didn't do it again. But on this record, I think, you know, as I've developed the tools and through therapy and counseling and prayer and meditation, all those things, I've developed tools to help me feel my feelings and sit with issues that I may be having, trauma and drama, as I like to call it, and like process it. And this album is a way for me to process. We really put a lot of effort into this music, whether I'm acknowledged for it or not. I do think I've made one of the best albums of the year.
I know you had mentioned like you were going through stuff in your personal life in some of your interviews. Like your professional life is going so great, but you're having trouble. Like, how do you balance that?
I'm entitled to share and relate to other people. It's not necessarily anything to do with you. You just happen to be the person that I'm talking about, but that doesn't eliminate like the feelings that I feel and the pain and the way that it may have affected me or molded me into the person that I am today. And I think when you don't reflect and you don't say it out loud, sometimes you don't even realize how terrible it was. You know, sometimes when I tell my story about what I went through in this relationship and past relationships and business relationships, it sounds crazy. I think there are many different ways that you can move forward. And when you talk about ending something, there's so many different ways that people have done that. Like maybe it's a separation, maybe it's a break, maybe it's a amicable split. Like we don't know what that looks like as far as my personal life is concerned, but I know that I do want to enjoy my success. I do want to be able to wake up every day and show up for my baby